First session of the new year, you guys.
Woo!
Happy New Year.
So last we left off, you guys had visited the Plane of Dreams. You encountered a creature that I believe Hawk coined the name Grove Keeper for them. They seemed benevolent, but they also wished to test you before they would allow you to return to the material plane with Poet. Each of you underwent a dream of your own, and upon your success, you woke up once again in the prime material plane with Poet. You guys got to meet Poet for the first time, most of you. Levy got to introduce herself to her cousin with her new name. And you decided to just take some time and just take a breather in the grove while you're here, because there doesn't seem to be any immediate danger. So, what are you all doing?
We have a wedding to plan.
You don't know about it yet, I don't think.
I know, but still.
Mhm.
Levy is off talking to Poet.
You guys trading notes?
Yeah, kind of.
Poet has been writing everything down that he can remember from the Plane of Dreams, just because he doesn't want to forget any of it.
She's kind of just asking what his next plans are and if he needs somewhere to go and shit like that, making sure that he's squared away.
Well, I gotta return one of those fruits to the nice fortune teller lady that directed me to the grove in the first place. That's my main next plan. But then I'm hoping to do a little bit more research.
All right. Well, forgive me if I really don't want you to go alone.
Well, I don't want to take you away from everyone here.
Well, I mean, if they all don't want to backtrack, honestly, it's been a rough ride. I need a break. I need a little bit of time to collect myself a little bit more. Especially leading up to coming to the Plane of Dreams to come get you. It really wasn't great in here. So I think I might need to take some time and gather myself more. Anyways, and I can introduce you to some friends that can help with your research, or at least point you in the right direction.
Yeah? Who are they?
Oh, well, there's Archivist Barhasa over in Opius at the big old library archive place. And then
I've heard good things about the archive there. And you said you know the archivist?
Yeah, Barhasa's she's an absolute gem.
That'll be great.
Her and her brother are lovely people. And we actually have a lot of common ground with them, you and I. So
yeah,
I think they'll be lovely friends to have. And then also we made friends kind of with one of the professors over at the institute in Royas, actually. The World Shifter. He's pretty cool.
That title seems little lofty. Are you sure he'll be willing to talk to the likes of me?
I mean, he talked with me just fine.
Fair enough. Well, I was actually gonna say maybe I can get an application in there, because that would be really cool to be able to actually study somewhere proper.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe the same thing when things settle out a bit. But also I need a little downtime. We have a house.
You got a house?
Yeah, we have a house, and we took in some tiefling kiddos off the streets, actually. So much to see.
I mean, I'd love to see. As I said, I don't want to take you away from your friends, though. If
I'll talk with them. I'm confident that they'll understand. They're really lovely people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to imply I'm not glad for your company, but
no, it's fine. I know.
I missed you a whole lot.
I missed you.
And with that, he kind of casts prestidigitation on his notebook to help dry the ink, and he closes it and hands it to you. And you can see that his notes are very written in a note style. There are some sketches in there. I'm going to send you just the stuff that he wrote down.
Yes. The lore. Give me the lore. I love your lore. Oh my god, he takes notes like a little fucking nerd.
Wonder where he gets it from.
It runs in the family. Thank you very fucking much.
All right. Are there any conversations that people would like to have?
I don't know if Lish is back, but Hawk did tell him that he wanted to talk about something. I don't think Lish is back, though. Could be wrong.
I don't know.
Lish and Demir are off in the woods. It's fine.
We probably take our time, but we probably meander back before it gets too late or whatever. Kind of come and settle by the fire or whatever. Hand in unlovable hand.
All right. So you eventually return. You guys are hanging out. You guys are all mostly spread out around the grove at this point, I think.
I mean, I would say Lish would not be too far away from people.
Yeah.
Demir is probably trying to get some sort of dinner together. I assume if it's getting late.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to be evening.
Yeah, so she's just kind of making some food, making some bread.
All right.
I'll probably... So we won't cover everyone because now we're 8 and not 7. Or rather, 8, not 6. But Hawk's got a background thing that could possibly help out with that. The Wanderer background lets you find food and fresh water for yourself and 5 other people each day. 5 land offers. berries, small game, water, etc. I don't think there would be small game in here, but there might be edible
Roll an
berries
investigation
somewhere.
check.
Sure.
Yeah, find us some like fucked up like dream monkey.
Dream touched strawberries or something.
Mhm.
On to some food, robot boy.
I forgot to grab an actual D20, so I'm going to use the chonky charade one.
All right.
That's a 3 total.
Not really finding anything.
Yeah. Well, I'll come back just like I tried. Let's go for my actual dice.
I mean, I've got like dried fruit and stuff. There's literally clear water right here running.
Fair enough. Just thought I'd save us on supplies, if possible.
I appreciate the thought.
Right. Sorry, I am still waking up. Trying to get my crap together. All right. Huck's gonna go seek Lish.
He's right here.
I didn't say that in character, but okay.
He's watching Demir pull things together, holding a handful of berries when she hands it to him, just like very helpful.
The best sous chef.
Sous chef table.
Oh yeah. Right. I did say that I needed to talk to you. Would now be a good time?
Just kind of raises an eyebrow, looking at you. Gives you a bit of a smile and kind of gestures for you to sit.
Shall? I had the slightest inkling of what your dream was about, so I assume you've got the same of mine.
I suppose.
How do you deal with that?
Deal with what?
Well, at the very beginning of the dream, you're flying somewhere on the owls, and everyone around me was just rapidly aging, crumbling to dust eventually. Not even you were safe. That's... well, the owls went too, and ended up in a graveyard with everyone's names. Just... How do you deal with that? How did you deal with that?
With the idea of losing people?
Outliving everyone you've ever known? Or I guess, well, I don't know how long they live over there, but surely you thought that at some point when you were with Demir.
I don't intend on it.
What do you mean?
I don't intend that sort of thing to happen.
You could prevent something like natural death?
My kind don't. Age like that.
Hawk sort of like looks down, sort of like visibly processing, and then it doesn't really take very long for him to just go, I see.
And even if I am stuck here on this plane for the time being, I have many, many years to fix things or find other solutions, as you saw in your dream.
In my dream, I don't think I saw such a thing, but I'll take your word for it and yours.
That is more or less what the Grove Mother's intent was, or the Grove Keeper's intent was find something and pick at it. Do you fear death, Hawk? Or do you think that you will never die?
I think I fear that I will never die.
And why is that? Why do you think that you will never die?
Hawksville just like gestures to himself. I don't have flesh that can rot or organs that can fail. The only thing that'll kill me via time is just erosion, deprecation. And I could always just fix myself as long as I can find the right materials.
You do not think that magic can be snuffed out, that your gears and cogs may stop working in time, even as much as you try to repair yourself? It is an inevitability when you live on the primaterial plane.
I'm not sure about the longevity of magic. I don't know anything about that, but
Do you even know how you work to fix yourself?
vaguely. Jamie taught me that much before he passed on. I guess is a way to keep myself running.
I do not think you should fear immortality, Hawk. I think you should perhaps think more about what your end of times will look like when it eventually comes. And perhaps think a little bit about what you might find on the other side for something like you, if there even is something on the other side.
There is for everyone else. I hope there is for me too.
I know, most likely, where I would go. But for something like you, I am not so certain.
Well, as far as I know, I am the only of my kind, and I'd rather keep it that way. So, there really is no telling.
I do hope that there is something to care and keep you on the other side.
Right now, I have people keeping me here, so
For now.
she'll just like slightly nods. For now. Hopefully that doesn't change for quite a long time.
There's no sense in worrying about it now. I think it's probably best for you to focus on the present rather than eternity.
Yeah, perhaps. The present isn't really looking that great right now, though. Not for me.
No, why not?
After seeing your father twice in a row in one dream, once in which he actually tries to kill you, after so long, so much time spent running, so much time spent practicing an art that can only kill, you start to think about what you're doing.
It wasn't actually your maker, though.
I know that.
A dream creature of some sort.
No, I know that, Glish, but
Right.
seeing his face again, hearing his voice, starting to think that whatever might happen if I do meet him again might not be worth the... I don't know.
What do you imagine happening? Do you
I
think
can't
that
imagine
he would
what
make
would
you
I can't imagine
a
what would
servant
happen.
again?
No.
You think
I
he
would
would
be
crack you?
No, I would be meeting him before my time. I don't know if that would impact, like, what if somehow we convinced him to never make me in the first place?
That would be intriguing. Perhaps we should try that.
I would rather that you didn't. I don't want to chance some kind of retroactivity unwinding my very being.
It'd be very interesting.
Interesting doesn't always mean that it's worth seeing.
True, I suppose. I feel these pockets of time probably have a way of correcting themselves.
I would hope so.
I don't think that you will undo your own creation, Hawk. Perhaps you will inspire your own creation. Now, wouldn't that be something?
That would, in fact, be something, wouldn't it? How hilarious would it be if
You are your
Jamie
own grandpa.
or if, I guess, Jamie somehow found out and used me as inspiration, thinking that I was the second.
He never indicated something like that to you, though, did he?
No, I never did, but if we're rewriting time over here, then perhaps that could happen.
Same outcome.
Different demarcation. I
So
would
what are
technically be the
you-
Mark One.
What are you thinking then if we go to see your maker? You want to hide in the bush? Or
I think I'm done with running at this point. I spent so much time trying to escape the Marchand legacy, or I guess whatever legacy they intended for me, that I think I wouldn't even mind going all the way east to find the manor again at this point.
it could be done. I wonder if they're early or present or late.
Who knows? Demir would probably like grandmother.
You think?
Perhaps.
English kind of looks over to Demir like, would you like grandmama?
Well, come on,
Why
you don't
do
know
you
anything
think
about
I
her
would
yet.
like your grandmother?
As a friend. She lifted our hometown out from the clutches of the criminal, just in general.
Ah,
After the capital, less of a hero, more of an organizer. After the capital fell, we were left to fend for ourselves, or so I heard. And she stepped up to take control.
Quite
You
a
can
lot.
imagine she's got a lot of responsibilities.
A lot of expectation, I'm sure.
Precisely.
Hmm.
Speaking with her could probably be enlightening, or at least interesting. I know how much Lish loves to explore the interesting.
Yes. It is the only way to keep the drudgery of the millennials away, Hawk. If you plan on living that long, you should learn how to find some entertainment and things. Dances, for example.
Not sure about dancing in particular, but good advice.
I'm sure we'll get you to dance yet. Didn't Jamie teach you how to do the finer niceties? Or did he just teach you how to, what, hold a platter or...
Well, tried a little bit of both, I suppose.
And?
It didn't work out how he intended.
How is that?
Well, being a noble family, you can probably imagine they had to throw the occasional dance party now and then. Jamie had every intention of teaching me how to socialize, but his family thought it was absurd. I don't think they knew what I was, actually.
What a waste.
Right.
Is it then that you don't know how to dance?
More that just the feeling of a ballroom doesn't sit right with me.
Ballroom. What about dance hall? What about the streets? You've so far thoroughly avoided having any fun around here, no matter where we take you.
I do think that you could probably tolerate a maypole.
Well, I did say that I was tired of running.
Yes, and
Tell you what, I'll break the Wild Rose's long-standing advice and make a deal with a Fae. He looks at Lish. Next time that we find such an event, I won't run.
Run in, not out. Is that your promise?
That it is. But in exchange, one of you will have to teach me to dance.
Of course.
I would like to see this.
I can't promise that I'll be a first-time prodigy, but I can promise that I'm a fast learner.
Yes, I don't need such promises. Well, wonderful. Wonderful indeed.
For any of that, though, I do still want to go to Legacy Quarry. Have that chance of running into Jamie. But who knows? Maybe they'll be throwing a celebration there too.
Perhaps.
Maybe if we go east, we'll be in time.
I do think, however, I would like to throw you into a big ball and see how you fare.
Well, that would be intimidating, but a promise is a promise, is it not?
You're made of quite a lot of metal. I'd like to see if you swim or sink.
I've tested. I sink.
Hopefully not in these waters.
Metaphorical waters, of course not. But
Well, Hawk, it will be interesting to meet your maker.
mhm.
I'm sure we'll have plenty to discuss.
Just don't scare him, right? He was
Make
afraid.
any promises on that?
He was afraid, remember, of unleashing a weapon to the world rather than a wonder.
Is that his fear or your fear?
Both.
Or something he put in you?
It's both. There's a fear that he had and that he impressed upon me.
And yet he still made you. Interesting. Despite the risk.
I think the thought came after. And after it achieved sentience, I guess it was too late to turn back a life.
Perhaps. Well, we shall see.
Thank you for the chat. It's been very enlightening.
And Lish will just kind of turn his attention back to the pot, the food being cooked.
Demir, I don't suppose you need a second hand. Well, I guess a third one.
No, I am fine.
All right. Figured I would offer at least.
Sure.
Huck will scoot over a bit to give Lish a bit more personal space, but he'll still sit nearby.
All right. Are there any other conversations that people would like to have?
Do I have an opportunities to strike yet or not?
I mean, you all seem to be just doing your own thing around the grove. So you could definitely, if you wanted to.
Okay, I would like to strike. So, Toby.
I'm here.
Like when you wander away from camp to do whatever, you kind of head back towards camp, and behind one of the trees is just Valk, and she's just kind of like, hi. Just straight up Blair Witch in it.
So you mean she's staring at the tree, like facing the trunk?
No, more
Because that's
just
Blair Witching it.
okay. Different horror movie monster then, where she just kind of is just standing behind a tree, just like, hey, can we talk? When you do not expect her to be there.
Oh, hello, Volk.
She's still in winged, and her mouth kind of, our experiences were a little different than the rest of the party. Do you want to talk about it with someone who would understand?
Tobias, he has an expression of understanding on his face when she says that their experiences are different. But at the mention of, do you want to talk about it, he appears a little more closed off. And says, how do I want to word it? I'm not sure how good dwelling on those people would do me.
That is a fair concern to have.
What of you?
I was returned to a time in my life where I had very little power, but as I am now, and I took that power back, as it were. But there was cost.
And what would you say that cost would be?
Val kind of points to somewhere to sit nearby and kind of plops down and kind of expectantly waits for Toby to join her.
He will sit beside her, yes.
She kind of just proceeds to just kind of look at the... Can we see sky from where we're at? Okay, so she kind of just looks up at the sky and goes, I haven't gone into much detail with you guys about my life before the my squireship. When a local church official found that a Azamar was born of seemingly divine inception, he saw an opportunity. And he used my birthright to consolidate power. My dream was, if I had never broken away from his influence, and I was in the position of judge, jury, and executioner.
I believe I can understand what your dream might have been about.
And the hardest part was it felt good. I got to give people their, I was told their crimes, and I gave the appropriate punishment, as the world should be. But then those faceless people turned out to be you guys. And then I was back in being manipulated by the political leader, Doboslav. The man of my nightmares. But because it was a waking dream, I was finally able to get my revenge on him, and it felt good. And on the good, she gets just this predatory smile.
Tobias, I may not know what Valk was expecting, but Tobias's face remains impassive as he says, "Sometimes there are just people in this world that need to die." And it sounds like Doboslav was one of them. And he says it so casually and so naturally that Valk could tell he probably would have done the same.
It's when she's Toby says it so casually, Valk kind of then focuses back in on Toby, as she does with the wings, where you've been being watched, but then all her attention kind of shifts, and she says thank you and kind of gives Toby an awkward hug.
Tobias will return the hug and say, "You're welcome, Valk."
At which point, Valk kind of thinks about it for a moment and goes, "I'm guessing you had a person who was deserving in your dream as well."
The people in my dream, they are the reason that I'm here. I do not know if they are deserving of death, though. But I will not lie. I wish that I killed them. I wish I tried. But perhaps it's for the best that I didn't.
Valk just kind of nods and then turns back to Toby and goes, "Well, if you ever change your mind, you have my aid."
Thank you, Val.
At which point Val kind of does just a big back slap, like camaraderie, and goes, "Thank you for talking with me." And kind of stands up and then is just completely like, well, what the fuck do I do now? And basically pulls a Homer Simpson and just disappears back into the bush, just walking backwards.
Val, just go back to camp. Just go back to camp.
At which point she kind of turns and continues backing up to camp.
You back up to camp eventually, finding yourself where Demi is making dinner and Lish and Hawk are kind of just hovering. At this point, Sniv has kind of curled up next to the fire and has just passed out.
Valk just kind of gets an odd look on her face and proceeds to climb a tree and just kind of perches up in a tree.
All right.
Bird mode,
Okay.
activate.
Embracing her peacock heritage.
Is the proverbial meal bell, I don't know which meal it is, being rung?
Yeah, it's dinner time probably at this point.
Dang! Maybe kind of like brings Poet back over and is like she has things to say, but she's like a little weepy about it. She's having emotions.
Poet has just been kind of staying with you, listening to you talk and contributing.
Of course, she's
when
been waxing
necessary.
poetic about everybody in the party.
Yeah.
Waxing poetic.
Aaron, what have you been doing this whole time?
Yeah, what has Aaron been doing?
What has Aaron been doing this whole time?
Aaron's been Fortnite distancing in the background.
And honestly, I love that for him.
Yes,
What's popping,
exactly.
Aaron?
Aaron's been being a little creep, honestly. Aaron has just been sitting like 10 feet, just a little bit away from fire, and just been like looking around at everyone and just staring at people. He's thinking about things. He's just like, wow, look, it's all of my friends. They're here.
Lish
All right.
kind of like glancing at Aaron every once in a while, like concernedly.
Aaron is looking directly at him every time.
What is the expression that Aaron has on his face?
He's got a dopey ass smile.
Lish kind of like holds the berries out towards Aaron, like, "You want a job?"
Yeah, he'll come on over. Yeah.
Kind of
Something.
gestures for Aaron to hold his hand out.
He does as much.
Puts the berries in his hand. Okay, you hold those.
I can do that. Probably.
What is going on in your mind? What are you smiling about?
Oh. God damn it, how corny is Aaron?
Very.
Yeah, okay. He just smiles even wider, and says, do you ever think about how today is the first day of the rest of your life?
I can't say that I've really thought of that. What makes you say that?
Well, I've been pretty caught up in the past for a while, but I don't know. Experiencing some of it in the challenge just went through, felt like that was the past, and it was bad. It was really bad, but it's not going to be the present again. The present is now, being here with you guys, and then I don't know what the future is going to be, but hopefully it's something similar,
Which is very astute of you.
I don't know. I'm just excited for stuff. Haven't been excited for a while.
Lish just kind of nods.
We we have a house now. Lish, where are you going to want to live, assuming we successfully get you reinstated? Which is a big assumption, but I think we're good for it.
I mean, I would assume that I would live in my castle.
Aaron nods.
Are you concerned that I won't visit?
Maybe a little.
Well, who's to say that you will want to continue to live on the prime material plane?
Oh?
Oh? You haven't even seen my house yet.
That is a fair point. And I'm sure it's quite grand.
Yes, well, we'll see what we find once we get there.
Yes, we could always put up some horrible new tapestries or carpeting.
If only tapestries and ill furniture choices were... Oh, no, that's actually a bit of a concern now that you mention it.
At which point Valk emerges from the bushes again. And it's just like, speaking of...
I thought you were up in a tree.
She's being a weirdo. Deal with it.
Yes, Valk?
Just speaking of being reinstated, how will that work for me since I accidentally oathed myself to your queen?
Lish kind of raises a brow and looks at Demir.
I don't exactly call that an accident. That seemed very on purpose.
It was very on purpose. You got down on your knee and everything.
The oath was purposeful. The fact that you're a queen, I didn't know.
Would you have done any less if you did know?
I would have been more
Valkyria,
formal
I'm
as
hurt.
opposed to in the middle of the kitchen.
Well, we don't exactly have a throne room at the manor.
We could change that.
I don't know if that's necessary. I don't want anyone to think a seat of power is here on the prime material plane.
Well,
In the
perhaps
middle of
it
the
could be your
kitchen.
summer home.
Ah,
Aaron's just laughing his fucking ass off.
Summer home, proceeds to put foot in mouth. Says to the King of Winter.
what would you like to have happen, Volk? What do you imagine?
Well, I was trained to be a paladin to aid those in power to rule justly. I could see no place I'd rather be than serving your two's country, plane. What is the definition of your guys' lost domain?
Realm.
Our lost domain. What does that mean?
Hawk is still nearby. He's not going to enter the conversation, but he's going to look over at Volk and just go like,
What wasn't there a coup? Y'all don't tell me shit.
There was a cue.
Thank you, Demir.
It's winter. Just winter.
Well, good thing I'm fluffy.
Your aid would be appreciated.
Lish
But-
kind of looks closer at Volk's wings and feathers. And can he get a sense of what kind of bird she is? Is she
Roll
a fair
a-
bird?
Nature or Arcana check?
Nature?
That's a 4.
No.
They're white.
I think she's made out of some made up birds, probably.
Well, you're not
You're
wrong.
not even sure birds are real, to be honest, at this point.
Definitely
They're
a
drones from the government.
All these feathered fucks in this party. We
I
don't know
mean,
if
Volk
they're.
is technically a
what-
drone from Higher Tower.
We don't know what a bird is anymore. Oh, we broke. We broke him.
No, we killed him.
oh no,
Rip Volk.
the realization was too strong.
You
Sorry.
good?
You need a minute?
Working on it.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Anyway, where were we?
Something. If you want to help, you can.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I'm fluffy, I think.
It's a good thing
he
I'm
said.
fluffy. And Lish determined you certainly are bird.
Species of bird, yes.
Lish doesn't ask, he just makes his own determination that you certainly are bird.
Like Valk knows what type of bird she is.
Your aid in the Feywild, Bulk area, would be of great help, but I certainly won't force you.
Hey, swearing an oath to a displaced royalty to get them back their throne is what every paladin dreams of when they're going through training. This is the shit storybooks are made of.
Yeah, this sounds like one of the books from your collection.
including the kneeling, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I mean, there's certainly plenty of that to be had, if that is what you're in. I'm
Valk
not
literally
saying I'm
just
not.
shuts down.
What? Levy's not. Like, I didn't say that in character. I didn't have the accent.
Oh, no, but Aaron was like your books, so.
Yeah, that happened.
Okay.
I'll take that into note. Valk doesn't take kindly to being flirted with.
At which point she just turns around and just walks off.
I don't fight unless you ask me to.
Is it safe to assume Levy's walking up with Poet at this moment?
Sure.
And Valk starts walking faster.
Definitely.
Hey, wait.
And she starts climbing a tree again.
No. Come back. Get back here. I have important things to tell everybody. Get back here. Mayor.
I can hear from over here.
Poet
Okay.
at this point kind of speaks up and says, I'm not entirely sure how safe this area is. There was a singing tree when I was through here before, but I can do a thing to help protect us if anything should come by.
That would be lovely just in case, but the tree's not a problem anymore.
Levy murdered it with war crimes.
Blew it the fuck up.
Does Aaron
So-
say that?
Not the war crimes bit, but the Levy murdered it.
No. Does Aaron say that Levy blew it the fuck up?
Yeah.
I mean, she did.
Well,
He's just nodding.
that's great. I can still do the thing or not, whatever. I mean, I'm just glad to be helpful.
No, yeah, that's a really nice offer.
That'd be real nice, I think.
With that, he sits down kind of near-ish the campfire and starts to cast a spell. And he's gonna be at that for a little bit because he's virtual casting.
We're
But
just gonna watch.
okay.
While he's doing that, and she's just kind of like standing there next to where he's fucking sat, like she's just like doing one of these right next to
All
him.
right. You can
She's
see
like,
that he has a little wand that he's kind of tracing runes in the air with, and he's kind of looking around at the space around you while focusing in on the runes. And after 11 minutes passes by, a bubble appears at the end of his wand and just balloons outward, and there's now a little dome covering your campsite, and it is green and roughly the shade of the foliage around you.
His magic is green too. Is Valk in the bubble, by the way?
Now Valk is in a tree outside of the bubble. Valk, you cannot see into the bubble. There's just a green dome covering the campsite.
Fine, Valk gets out of her tree. She had 11 minutes of tree time. She's doing better.
Needed a quick 10-minute tree ring. When Valk re-enters the bubble, Levy's still doing one of those hands on the hips, standing there like an idiot things, and she says, in light of my state, when we got here,
Baby.
I was thinking that I could safely see Poet on his separate way and meet back up with you guys before we go and and see Jamie, of course. But I wanted to kind of, again, see him safely where he's going. And I think I just, I don't want what happened before we went into the plane of dreams to happen again. So I kind of really want to take some time and get my head on straight, so I can be better for y'all. Because as it is, I mean, and she's gonna turn down to like where Poet's sat, and she's gonna be like, and don't worry about it, I'm fine now. But I think blowing myself up with that tree, kind of,
what?
I don't think that should happen again.
You blew yourself up?
Tobias raises a hand. You are absolutely correct. That should not happen again.
Right. I think if I give myself a little bit of time to head back to the house and make it more of a home for us to return to and like check on the kids and stuff, and then meet back up. Again, I'd meet back up with you guys before we went to see Jamie and things. But I could also do some research, and I mean Demir could contact me pretty easily. I could do research for you guys and stuff. I think I just need a break from adventuring for a little bit, get myself together so I don't blow up again.
Levy, are you asking us for permission or telling us what you're going to do?
I would like to be telling you what I'm gonna do, but I'm more asking permission because I'm not that confident right now. See, that's why I need that break, right? I just don't want to upset nobody. I don't want to leave you guys. I don't want to put you guys out none.
I don't think that you being someplace safe would be a problem.
Yeah, but like, what if you need me? Something.
Val kind of leans forwards at this point and goes, considering what we all went through and the fact that reality seems to be breaking down everywhere all at once, a few days shouldn't be a problem for all of us to recharge.
We're so close to Legacy Quarry.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to make everybody backtrack, and I don't know.
If you're concerned about Poet getting back west safely, I have a suggestion. At which point Val just looks severely uncomfortable.
Already? Nah.
I
don't like that look on your face. No.
My old school is nearby, and they would certainly be able to offer Poet the protection to get back west, and we can recharge there.
I mean, I can do plenty to protect myself. Mostly, I just need to find that fortune teller lady and return the fruit to her.
That might be difficult. She might not be on this plane anymore.
Well, she might need that fruit to move.
Does it look like an apple to you? It looks more like a mango to me.
I was thinking pomegranate.
There's also the fact, Poet, that you have been gone by yourself for quite some time, and something did happen to you. There's nothing wrong with strength in numbers. In case something does happen, you won't be by yourself this time.
That's what I'm worried about. I just don't want to drag anybody else in my paranoia, and I think I really do just need a bit. and I do want to check on those kids. And I can't ask you guys to go back across the whole damn continent for that. Like I said, I'd be more than happy to do research while I'm away, because I mean, like I said, Demir can get in contact. I think I need some me time.
How do you plan on traversing the entire continent? Just walking?
I mean, one, we're magical. We can figure that out. And two, I mean, we got we got friends. I mean, once we make it back to like Pious, we'd probably be able to just.
How far is Opius from here? Let me look at the map.
Yeah, I can drag us over. It's a fair distance. The closest city, other than Legacy Quarry, there's Ayera or Avatix. But at this point, Poet speaks up and says, I mean, I might have enough coin to see if we can join a caravan or something that's taking us somewhere, or we could see if we can rent horses or something.
Yeah, I got plenty of coin, and plus I have enough. After the dragon, don't worry about it. She says to Poet. Things dead. It's fine. We lived. It's great. We're good. I have enough coin left over from that I can cover the rest of the renovation costs, I think.
Poet's rolling an insight check on you, by the way.
What? I mean, he's not hiding anything. I'm not gonna roll against you. It's fine. The dragon's fucking dead.
Levy's a liar.
Yeah, well, I got an 18. So
it's fine. The dragon's fucking dead. They looted the body. What do you want?
He's a little alarmed by the things you're saying, but he's not speaking up.
Adventuring party. What did he expect?
Not a dragon in this day and age.
Also,
a dragon in this economy.
A dragon isn't. But yeah.
I'm real worried about you traveling all the way across the country again on your own with just the two of you. I mean, all of us, it took us days, and that was with the eagles and everything.
I mean, y'all got stuff to do in Legacy Quarry, and also just gosh, I'm a little flustered with the care, but Poet and I mean, you guys know about my past. We've been through so much together. We're two peas in a pod. We're real strong together. We'll be all right. We'll take real safe routes, and the moment we find a caravan or some horses, I'll fork over some of that money and get us some safe passage in numbers. We'll be all right.
And what is your ability set, Poet? What would you be able to do to keep our Levy safe?
Well, I'm pretty good with spells. And
What kind of spells?
I'm good at changing things, making it easier for people to climb. I can do like a dragon breath sort of thing. I can do a little bit of healing to my own detriment. But I'm also really good at hiding and stuff.
And would you hide if there was danger?
Well,
You
I'm not.
leave Levy out.
Well, no, I wouldn't leave her anywhere.
Insight
What do you take me
check.
for?
Insight check.
Roll an insight check.
Meanwhile, Levy's like, Lish, we're thick as thieves.
And Valk's just like, we can send them with some squires. They actively like to have quests given to them.
I have a 24 for my insight.
He seems very earnest. While combat does not seem to be his area of expertise, he does have some spells that could be used for defense, and he does seem very confident in his ability to be unseen should the situation call for it.
Fucking nerd.
Wizard hubris.
Fucking wizards. Think they can hide their way out of their problems.
I mean, he's multi-classed.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
I mean, poet doesn't just do magic. He's also a damn snake. She gives him a look like there's fucking like dirt there. And Valk's squire thing, she kind of looks to her and goes, I mean, are you sure you're all right with us going to your old school? You didn't look too happy about the idea.
I would be more comfortable being there as I am now than when I was last there.
That's fair. If it'd make y'all feel better about us traveling so far, I could, if you point us in the right direction, we'll head there and then get safe escort, maybe some horses. Won't take as long.
I can't remember. Is the school in between here and Legacy Quarry, or is it to the south?
It's a little bit north of here, closer to Iera.
At which point Valk just says, it's only a day or two flight, and we can get you there, and we can see you on your way, and then we can head to Legacy Quarry.
Demir has been kind of staring down at the bread loaf that she made, and she's specifically looking at the stamped pattern in the middle, this round, kind of very decorative series of like concentric circles, and there's like a little flower in the middle, and she's kind of staring at it, and she puts the bread aside and takes out the scrying orb. And I am going to try to scry on Aldrich.
Magic taxi. She calling the magic taxi.
All right. Yeah, that's a fail. Okay. So you focus in on the orb, and you see Aldrich in his office at the KTA Institute, thinking about how time zones work. Yeah, it's probably like early evening for him.
Okay.
And he's just writing.
Aldrich, this is Demir. We made it back from the plane of dreams.
Were you successful?
Yes, very, actually.
That's fantastic to hear. I quite look forward to hearing about it upon your return.
I have a bit of a question for you. Women have means of getting from one place to another very quickly. Is that right? Teleportation circles.
That is correct. There are teleportation circles, various places around the country that I have access to, as well as the teleport spell itself, which does not need a circle.
Is there a circle in the Katia Institute?
There is.
Could I perhaps trouble you in the next 9.5 minutes? To see if maybe our companion Levy wishes to return to our home in Roya, and I feel like I could get her there safe if
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
okay. Oh, fucking Jesus. Okay, hold on. That's crap for Demir, but that's a 17.
Are you implying that you wish to see the circle via what you're doing right now?
Yes. It seems you draw the same circle and it connects to each other, right? That's the way you do it.
I suppose in theory it could work. And if you do not complete it in time, you have the ability to do this once more. Is that correct?
I believe. Yes. I can do this 2 more times, although I can't speak both times. Just the first.
All right, let me see what I can do. And he gets up and starts to walk out of the office, and your vision of him follows. Although as he walks, it's very odd. Like the background seems to be sort of blurred with the movement as he is walking. But you can tell that he's taking twists and turns and observing. And he comes through a couple of doors a couple of times, and you see him speaking to someone just outside of your vision, and then eventually you find yourself in a room where he stops moving and he sits on the ground near a teleportation circle, and you can see that the ceiling is rather high, and it seems to be a glass ceiling, with the last remaining sunlight shining through. And there are various tapestries on the walls that you can see at this point, in addition to the circle. You probably have about 6 minutes left of this scry.
Great. I just need a minute. I'm going to spend the next 5 of those minutes trying my best to examine the circle as through this scrying orb, and kind of Aldrich, would you mind moving just a little to the yes, perfect, excellent.
Meanwhile, Levy's got like Poet's fucking shoulders, and she's shaking him like, "Look at how cool Dagger is! She's doing magic." And I told you Aldrich was cool.
This is beautiful.
Could
Thank
you
you.
repeat that?
This is beautiful. The room, the circle,
We like to have access to various places around the country. There's one that goes to the archives, a couple that go to Avatix, just in case that there's a situation where we would be helpful.
Yeah. Do you know where they all are? Just out of curiosity.
I do know, but I'm afraid I'm already bending the rules to show you this one.
And I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you.
What time can I expect to come through? And at this point, like, Poet speaks up and says, if I go now, this, and he kind of points to the dome, will disappear. But like, I'm happy to get out of your hair whenever you need me to.
Leave now.
Well, I hate to take more of your time, but within an hour or so, is that okay?
I can probably make that work.
Thank you again. I'm sure that Levy will be more than grateful, and I'm sure she will make herself of use if you require it.
I quite appreciate the sentiment.
Thank you again.
Of course.
And I hope you see her on the other side. And she's bringing her cousin, Poet. He's good.
Fantastic.
And I think my scry ends at that point.
All right.
And I have a way of getting you back to Royas, Levy.
Yeah?
Aldrich helped me. I'm not sure if it'll work, but he said that he would help within the hour or so. So, if it works, I can get you right to him.
Gosh, you're just brilliant.
I'm not sure.
She's all starry-eyed, like.
Eat up. I'm going to go over here. And Zamir picks up a stick and starts walking over to wherever there is a 10-foot circle, or 10-foot square space that she can start drawing a circle in.
I mean, there are various mossy spaces that you can potentially draw a circle in.
Yep, and I'm just going to spend the next it doesn't say how long
10
it
minutes.
takes to, I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes drawing a almost complete circle. I'm not going to complete it so it casts, but I'm going to while it's fresh in my mind.
When Demir starts in on that, Aaron's going to go over and say, do you need to draw that with anything special?
I think I need some ink and some gem.
Aaron, I'll supply from the dragon. And he's also going to rummage around in his sack for a minute, and pull out a paint set and say, I have some special paint. It might help. I don't know. It's magic, I think. At least.
Like looking at the magic paint set, would it work for the teleportation circle?
Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. Rare chalks and inks infused with precious gems with 50 gold pieces, which the spell consumes. Okay.
Do we remember how much it cost to get the magic paint?
It was a lot.
It was like
if it's more than 50 gold, there's a chance it could work. I don't know about the chalks part though.
Definitely more than 50 gold.
Speaks up and says, well, if they don't work on their own, I can potentially transmute them into something that might work. Can give it a shot anyway.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Demir is going to put her hand over the lid of the magical paint. And
you probably wouldn't need all of them. All of the paints, or just some of them. Kind of looks towards you, Aaron. What color do you not like of these?
I'll
He'll pull
replace
out
any
the-
color
What?
that has to be transmuted.
He'll pull out the red tube.
Okay. And remind me how many uses you have of that magic item.
Trying to find that one. Each pod is sufficient to cover 1,000 square feet. Yeah.
He won't even use all of that. Okay. Well, let's see. And so I'll just say generously that it uses 5 feet.
All right.
And let's roll an Arcana check to try to transmute. I'm bending the rules for transmutation, wizard. It's okay.
Can I help with it? Demir is sitting there like,
Okay, sure. What do you do to assist?
I think if you put the gem inside the paint, that way it'll saturate in. Gems will dissolve a little in water, so I'm trying to help.
Okay.
Looks like I could smash gem.
So let's see. Okay, that's not bad then. Okay. So almost effortlessly, Poet transmutes just enough of the materials into the needed chalk and ink, and passes it over to you.
Thank you. And Demir is going to look over at Aaron and just like reach out and touch his hand and thank you too.
Yeah. This is your show. Just happy I could prop it up.
I honestly I barely know what I'm doing. But let's give it a shot. And Demir is going to, like I said, she's not going to complete the circle. She's going to get it almost complete and save the completion, the like last little stroke until we're ready to actually cast the spell.
Okay. I will note that as soon as how close to the bubble were you doing the circle?
Pretty close, if I could. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry to make you lose your spell, Poet, but
it happens. I'm not too worried about it. Thanks for your help in getting us there.
I hope this works.
I mean,
but
I don't know you all that well, but my cousin seems to trust you, so I trust you too.
She's a real special person.
I agree.
Anyway, the food's getting cold. You should eat. And Demir will go back into the hut.
All right. Are there any other conversations that would like to be had?
Levy's like stuffing food in her face so she has enough time to go around and say goodbye to everybody. For now.
I was gonna say that Tobias wanted to talk to Levy.
Yeah.
Keeping it short, basically saying, well, I suppose you'll be going away for a while.
Could you repeat that really quick?
Sorry, yeah, let me lean closer. Tobias says, so I suppose this means you'll be leaving us for a time?
Just a little bit. I really don't want to put any of you in danger or scare you guys about my safety again.
Yeah.
I understand.
Take
good care of yourself. And be nice to yourself, too.
You too, all right? If I come back and I'll find out you haven't been good to yourself, we're going to have some words, mister.
I'll try.
Well, just in the background at Toby.
Toby's not paying attention to Valk. He's solely focused on Levy.
Oh, no, the gesturing was for Levy.
Levy pulls Toby down for a kiss, but she drapes her arms over the back of his neck and she gives Valk a thumbs up. Like, message received. give Toby some good old little smoochins, and she's just like, I'll be back before you know it. All right?
I'll hold you to it.
You'll go to Lish and Demir.
Lish, though, when she comes over, will, give her a hug and hold her forearms and just kind of lean in and say, I do sincerely hope this isn't some way of you trying to punish yourself for something.
No, just trying to keep from a repeat incident. Really, I promise. You can insight check her and everything.
He trusts Levy in this moment and will just nod and give her a little smooch and send her on to the next goodbye.
She goes to Demir.
I really don't want you to leave.
Yeah, I don't really want to leave y'all either, but I think it'll be safer for everybody in the long run if I go get myself put together a little bit more and I come back, because I'm coming back.
You better.
I don't think anything could properly keep me away from y'all. I love you, you know.
I love you. And Demir's just going to reach up and tuck her hair behind, like Livy's hair behind her ear, and give her a kiss.
What? I'm gonna cry.
I know I'm a liar, but I'm not lying.
I had a feeling. Liar or not, I do trust you. Couldn't love you if it didn't.
Demir's going to put a loaf of bread in Livy's hands.
What? She's gonna give Demir another little peck on the cheek and just scuttle off. Like, her ears are like red. She's like, girlfriend. She'll go to Hawk and she's gonna just go straight in for the hug.
He's not gonna resist. He's gonna hug right back.
Fuck
Sort of
yeah.
like, so you give her like a gentle pat on the shoulder too, and they're like, "You taught me a lot, you know. It won't be the same without you."
I know. I'll be right back though. Okay? I can't just not come back and not have another snowball fight with you.
Oh, of course not. And you should do what you think is best for yourself. You deserve peace. You deserve calm.
And so do you guys. And it's not always possible when I'm out here not all discombobulated and shit.
Oh, come on. It's not your fault that we keep running into trouble.
Oh, well, yeah, but I can do stuff about it, and this is me doing stuff about it, you know?
Fair enough. Though, before you go, I would like you to have something. And he sort of fishes through his bag and pulls out the second mask.
Shut the fuck up. That's me saying that, not Levy. I'm sorry.
You cannot shut me up, I'm afraid. It may or may not have been a joke, but I made a second one anyway. So, do what you will with it. And he sort of just like hands it over.
Okay. Thank you. I'll see you soon. I'll miss you.
I'll miss you too, and I'll see you soon as well.
Aaron, it's your turn, bitch.
Heat-seeking Levy homing in on your location.
Big hug. Big hug.
And when they blow away, he's gonna punch Levy lightly on the arm and say, in the worst fucking imitation of Levy's accent, "Now don't be a stranger, you hear?"
She's gonna come in with her right back. You know, if imitation was in the highest form of flattery, I would have socked you in the face.
I think that would have been more than fair.
I'll be right back. Stay out of trouble, won't you?
Of course.
Keep painting.
Take care of the children.
I will.
He smiles at her.
And she'll pat him on the shoulder again, just like actually full force, just fucking slap. Not like an attack roll, but like just a fucking just a smack on his shoulder.
You can feel Aaron like being pushed and just like refusing to like move because of it. He's just standing stone.
Bulk. Bird bitch. Sorry.
Bird bitch just big fucking hug and just crunch. Like lift. And then when she sets you down, she says a prayer in Celestial, basically going, Godspeed, good luck, Tear Watcher over you. And when she places the bless, she gives you a quick peck on your forehead.
If her ears were red, walking away from fucking Devir, she looks like a goddamn tomato right now. She's just blinking up at Volk like, what? Short circuiting.
Godspeed.
Well, now, hey, that's not fair. You stop hiding your face real quick.
Don't make me.
No, let me see you. She's squaring up. Fuck up.
Are you okay? Are you asking for open wings or her polymorph?
Just, she wants to see your face.
Well, I'm gonna need you to make a save then.
Sick. Fuck, where the fuck are my dice? Wait, shit. What kind of save, by the way?
Give me a second, because I can't remember.
Okay.
Pretty sure it's a charisma save.
I'm pretty sure it's a charisma save too.
Charisma or wisdom. One of the two.
Yep, charisma saving throw.
Sick as fuck. Hang on. 2 seconds. Yeah, that's gonna be a 17.
Well, congratulations. I'm pretty sure you saved. Yep. So, like, you can see a look of indecision on her face, and then says, fuck it, and boom. And you are greeted with the full force of all her eyes.
Levy's like, there you are.
Oh, is anyone behind her, by the way? Like, poet?
I was gonna say, I think you all are in the dome.
Oh, does the dome protect from it?
No, you're in the dome.
Oh, well,
Yeah, is it a radius or a cone?
it's technically a radius, but I've always just viewed it as a in front of her. So not a cone, but like a half circle.
I'll roll for Poet. Why not?
Poet gets to see Valk.
19.
Okay, then Poet saves. But it is a little disconcerting.
Just Levy's delighted. She's just like, oh, there you are, and she's gonna fucking get up on her tiptoes and she's gonna give Valk a little fucking peck on the approximately where her cheek would be behind all of the eyes.
Oh no! From here down, there's a cheek.
Okay, yeah, she gets a little whack for her troubles.
Valk just kind of puts her hand on it and just kind of then turns very red.
Two can play that game. Haha.
Yeah. And when she steps back from Levy, she kind of folds her wings back in so she doesn't get the rest of the party.
Do you have to look at it to be affected by it, or is it just no matter what?
It's has to see the front of me, basically.
Yeah, I figured
I guess it was a burst, but
even if we were in like the semicircle, we could all probably like look away. So plenty of time.
Yes, it's see me, not I see you.
When she's done making all of her goodbyes, she's gonna go link arms with Poet and go towards the circle and kind of tear up a bit. And she's gonna be like, I'm gonna miss y'all.
As soon as Poet steps out from the dome, the bubble shrinks and kind of scatters into little green sparkles. And he says, it was a pleasure meeting you all, and it'll be nice meeting you again. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
I'm watching you.
We'll be keeping
Samir
an eye
points
out.
to the scrying orb and like, I'm watching
I would
you.
expect no less.
She means it lovingly and not as a threat, I assure you.
Oh no, it's a threat.
I figured
dear.
it was a threat.
Can we be nice to my cousin, please?
Hey, they're only threatening me because they love you, you know. I don't mind that. You could use a little love. Stay safe, you all.
we'll certainly try our best.
And yourselves.
I'm hoping we won't be experiencing too much trouble in the city.
Don't
Me
be
neither.
The best,
getting
prepare for the
yourselves
worst.
don't be getting yourselves into trouble.
No. I'm gonna sleep a lot.
And Lish points at the both of you in turn. If you are returning this fruit to the hag, no more.
Mm-mm.
Sure.
Oh, it's just like, she's a what?
Give her our best wishes, though.
Will do. I'll be on my best behavior, don't you worry.
I'll watch out for her.
I'm more concerned about you, however.
We'll watch out for each other.
Precisely.
All right. Take care, y'all.
All right. Samir is going to complete the teleportation circle.
With that, Poet takes your hand, Levy. The two of you step in to the circle together.
And she's fucking crying. Because that's her fucking family.
Tobias will be waving goodbye.
He gets a kiss blown in his direction.
All right. And so, with that, Levy and Poet have disappeared into the circle. The circle glows for a few seconds more before it fades.
I'm just to make sure Demir is going to pull out the scrying orb and scry on Levy. Like give it a few hot seconds, and then she's going to scry on her. Like,
All right.
you know.
That's a wisdom save, I believe, for you, Levy.
Good, I suck at those. The only time it's good to suck at those is it's Demir. All right, I get advantage, so I gotta roll 2 of these bitches. I remembered this time. Yep, that's gonna be an 11.
All right.
You fail.
Demir, you can see Levy and Poet near the teleportation circle, chatting with Aldrich.
Okay.
Same
Yeah,
room
I
you had
just
seen
all I
before.
wanted to know. All I wanted to make sure was that she got there, and that she is with Aldrich. So it's a very quick scry, and she'll drop it and just. She's in Royas. They're in Royas.
Tobias gives a sigh of relief.
No, I now that she's gone, I am curious. Where did you learn to do that?
I don't know.
I did not teach you that one.
It just sort of I was thinking about I was thinking about ways of getting around, and I was looking at. I remembered that teleportation circles were a thing, and I it just came to me.
Huh. I mean, I guess I'd have to say the same about how I learned to summon Beog, so it's very interesting. You're very talented, Demir.
Is this thing still active? Because maybe we shouldn't leave a direct pathway to the tree of leaving this plane.
Teleportation circle is only active for like a couple of seconds, I think. Like, I think it's literally like 1 or 2 rounds, and then afterwards it fizzles out. It's a very expensive
It's
spell.
1 round.
1 round. Thank you. You can make it permanent, but that requires a lot more investitude or investment.
That requires casting it in the same place over and over for a year.
Yeah.
Does the mark of the pattern of the circle though still remain, or should we scuff it just so that people can't recreate it?
In case Demir will scuff it.
You know, better safe than sorry. Besides, Valk isn't this type of a nerd. She doesn't know this shit.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually something that Demir was going to do, is she was going to go through and scuff it out.
Tobias will help her with that, so that way they can like ensure it's a very, very thorough job of making sure none of the lines are distinguishable.
I'll wipe it away with Valk's tears.
Actually, yeah, well, once Toby and Demir like do their scuffing circle and kind of meet in the middle, Demir is going to reach out and take Toby's hand.
He will take her hand, kind of like rub his thumb over her knuckles gently before squeezing it and saying, "Are you okay?"
No. But it's fine. I got Levy to Roya safe, so we're good.
You did. You did an incredible thing to me. And I am, once again, blown away by all the talents that you have.
I hardly know them.
Well, I guess that just means we'll have to discover more over time. It'll be fun.
Are you okay?
It hurts to see her leave, but I'm trying to hold on to the knowledge that she will come back.
She will come back or we will come for her. Either way, she's not getting away from us.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I'd say we've been through too much together to just let it end like this.
She promised to aid us, so she is not getting out of that. I will force it with her if I need to.
And I trust you to do so.
You won't need to force it. She'll be like, "Oh no, you're twisting my arm so hard. Oh no."
I think Demi is mostly joking, so.
Demir will pull Toby's hand and bring him back over towards where Lish is.
Yeah, Tobias will go with her.
We should rest here for the night and then get on the road in the morning. Fresh and early.
Sounds good to me.
Speaking of which, what road?
The
What is our next stop?
trail we blaze.
I think we were going to Legacy Quarry.
That
You
sounds
had
about
business
right,
there,
yes.
didn't you, Hawk?
Sorry, what did Demir say?
You
Legacy
had
Quarry.
business in Legacy Quarry.
Yes. According to Valkyria's vision, Jamie should be about thereabouts. It's
Well,
just south of
there.
where we are.
Isn't that where the obelisk is as well?
The obelisk is further to the east, much closer to the ocean.
So if you're on the map on Roll20, you guys are more or less right here in the mountain range right now. Legacy Quarry is there, of course, and then Hawk's dad is allegedly somewhere around here, or at least there's some sort of lead to him there. And then the Turning Spire is over here.
And isn't there a way through the mountains at Legacy Quarry?
Yeah.
Yep.
And a
As-
temp character.
As far as I can tell, I'm actually going to draw on the map for this too. Hawk will Hawk will ask for the map that we've got, and sort of like trace his finger along like the supposed route. So we're about here. Oh, that's a terrible color. Hang on. Let's do it in red. That's nice and visible. So we're about here. Lexicor is south, of course. And then Jamie's around here. Assuming we find him or something that could lead to him there, and hopefully I'll find some sort of closure to what I'm looking for.
Your hometown, Hawk, is here.
Where? Could you ping it again?
Right here.
Right there. And then from there, if there's a good route, and there's a river there, you guys could probably head to my hometown, Emredin Harbor, which is about here. It should be a path through the mountains somewhere. You could head up the coast to the next town, and then hopefully secure passage to the Spire to find out what's going on.
The easiest route would probably be through the mountains over by Legacy Quarry to get through the mountains, because this involves a lot of mountain climbing.
So let's put that in blue, actually.
But it is an option to drop through your hometown if you wanted.
Ultimately, it's up to what you guys think, but stop at Legacy Quarry is something I would very much like.
Well, we won't know if we need to backtrack to your hometown until we find out whatever clues are left for us where my vision indicated
True.
Jamie at least was.
Right. So
At the very least, it sounds like stopping by Legacy Core would be the best place to start.
especially after a mountain climb to where we are now, yes, might be a good idea to restock. Maybe find some better gear if at all possible. I don't know what's there, but
Spend our dragon money.
right, we are sort of loaded now, aren't we?
This is probably the most money I've ever seen in my life.
I have to say the same.
Demir
Alright.
and Valk purposely quiet on that one.
So
Oh,
it is evening at the moment. Based on your journey to the Forgotten Grove, it would probably take about a day to get to Legacy Quarry.
Yeah, well, we're sleeping and then we're going in the morning, and then we'll get out of this cave. And I don't know, the owls didn't perform very well at the peak.
It was fucking windy.
Fucking windy.
So it's fucking windy.
I can see if I can get a bunch of like
Snow and
spiders
sideways.
or something that's good in the snow.
Are there any more conversations that would like to be had before you all bunk down for the evening?
Fucking wolves.
Oh, Tobias will tell Aaron
Hmm?
if we ever go to a beach, let's hang out there together.
I can't.
Let's go see a real fucking ocean, Aaron.
Yeah.
You know,
And he goes, a real beach.
A real beach,
episode.
Aaron.
I
Have you
think
two
I'd
never
like
seen
that a
the ocean?
lot.
Fuck, I lived in the fucking woods most of my life.
I guess
Just
that's
in a
fair.
tundra.
The biggest body of water I've seen is the lake that's around Opius.
Fair enough. I can't guarantee the beach itself will be very exciting, but I'm sure that the view for the first time will be completely worth it.
When has Hawk seen the ocean?
He literally lives next to it. Rather lived.
Where was the city again?
About here. And imagine the ocean is just a
Okay.
short forest walk away.
He's an East Coast bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I'm one of those weird people who like guzzles Old Bay.
Yeah, I bet you have a Dunkin' Donuts over there too.
You
Leaves
ever hear
out
about the
Pilt
Amarin
for
Lobster
Santa.
Festival? It's great.
When you said Old Bay, do you mean Old Bay seasoning?
Yarp.
God damn.
I only know East Coast things by proxy through actual East Coasters. I cannot claim to be a representative of their culture.
Anyway. Bringing it back in.
Yes, of course. All right, so southbound to Lexi, and then further southbound to the pass that he might be at.
When I was a spider, I did pretty well in the snow and the ice and the rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Seemed.
Yeah.
I can summon 8 giant wolf spiders.
That sounds absolutely
Ew.
terrifying, but it's probably our best bet. If there's nothing else you could do anyway.
Well,
Less
there's
terrifying than looking in the mirror in the morning.
giant. It seems like it might be the best thing to take us. I don't think snakes or lizards would do as well in the cold. I mean, there
wolves, not
are
bears of any kind.
wolves. We could all get a wolf,
Wolves, bears, there's plenty of things that live in the snow.
but it was pretty snowy and spiders can catch themselves. Wolves or spiders? Your choice.
I think
I-
the spiders might be a bit safer because, like you said, they could catch themselves.
There was that giant gap on your way up.
That is also true.
Right, I did forget about that.
Oh yeah, the broom fairy incident. Oh, incident. Wasn't much of an incident.
The conundrum.
The conundrum, there we go. Alright, we'd have to deal with that, wouldn't we? Mm-mm.
Well, wouldn't the spiders be able to cross a rope?
They're relatively heavy.
So it's a thick
They are
rope.
giant spiders.
Let's head out and see what we find at the gap.
It might be a nice day tomorrow.
Wishful thinking. But I like your positivity.
Maybe
Oh, who
somebody's
knows?
come by and remade the bridge.
Kind of doubt it, considering this is a forgotten grove, but again, positivity. Well, there's nothing really we can do except sleep on it, I suppose.
Yep. I guess we'll crash out.
All right. So, as you all begin to prepare yourself for rest, you find yourselves all considering the dreams you experienced after you ate the fruit within the plane of dreams. Valk, your mind is drawn to Lore Keeper Doboslav. his voice whispering in your ear, guiding you to kill, where to strike your hammer. And although you haven't seen him in years, you find yourself wondering just how many of your decisions he has influenced in the waking world. Tobias, you consider your birth parents and how they appeared in the dream. They would surely be older now. Maybe they even have another child. Their visions, the visions you saw of them were how you remember them. And it makes you feel warm at the thought that Offsea is in your life now instead of them. Even despite your vision of slaughtering everyone you know and love in your owl bear form. You consider the feeling of stumbling upon Offsea's body covered in blood. Lish, something that really bothered you about your dream, other than Demir's death, was that you could feel the icy chill of the palace dungeon, which is something that has never happened to you before. You now know that when you eventually return to the Feywild to confront Fiola, you will have to do it carefully. You will probably need a plan. Erin, your mind is drawn to Farai.
Oh boy.
You didn't know her all that well, and you never really got to before she died. While you still feel a sense of guilt surrounding the circumstances of her death, you still find yourself pondering Echo and Egress in your arms as you fly to escape the blaze. Demir, you're thinking of your family. Your father and sister appeared to you, but a couple of members of your family were conspicuously absent. Why did only they appear to you? And why did your father say that he missed you? Was that just a part of the dream, or is that what you really want him to say? And Hawk, the vision of everyone fading and decaying sticks with you. You feel that your purpose given to you by Jamie was to heal, but you don't really feel like you've healed anyone in a long, long time. What even is a purpose? Can someone give you a purpose? You know you can only go forward as your arrows do, but a desire for more starts to tug at your mind. And with that, each of you find rest and awaken comfortably in the morning. Your dreams were all much more vivid than usual, likely due to your proximity to the tree, to the plane of dreams itself. But the night itself passes uneventfully. What do you do
Don't
in the
kick
morning?
the tree. Fuck this tree now.
Gonna blow this one up too. So what do you guys do?
We're headed out.
All right.
Just gotta figure out our mode of transportation first.
Sounds like you are going to spiders.
We're gonna go to the hole because I think we can make it there on foot, can't we?
Oh, yeah.
It's relatively easy to do.
We'll be going downhill instead of uphill, so it'll be easier to do.
Mhm.
A little more dangerous.
So, and then we'll figure out what we want to do from there. So I don't have to burn a spell in case we want to do like owls or something instead.
Hawk will set up a grappling sort of in reverse. So like he'll just plant the hook down and toss the rope down so that we have an aid to ease us down in case we like start slipping and falling. And then once we reach the bottom of the huge slope we ran into the first time, sort of like shake the rope to get the hook loose and then pull it back.
Okay. Let's see. Can I have someone roll a D8, please? Actually, a D10. Sorry, did that wrong.
I'll do it.
Do it.
Unless someone else wants to.
Do it.
That's a 9.
9. Okay.
9.
Let's see. It starts snowing pretty heavily, but it doesn't seem dangerous. Next leg of the journey, someone else can roll another D10.
I can roll it. One.
1. Okay.
Dies.
You start to see little flickers of light within the clouds and the snow, swirling patterns. It's pleasant. It's nice. It's very cold, but it's still nice to look at.
Keep an eye out on those.
All right.
Is
Next
it
one.
like Aurora or is it magic?
Roll a nature check.
I actually rolled well. That would be a 14.
14.
Yeah.
They don't seem all that natural, so they must be magical. Dammer, you are noticing that the cold seems to be bothering you much more than the others.
Oh,
Oh no.
is the bitch.
Demir just kind of like tucks her hands into her coat a little and tucks up closer between, like, she's got Lish on one side and Toby on the other side, so she just kind of pulls both in.
Okay.
She's making herself into a sandwich.
All right. You take 6 points of cold damage, but not much beyond
Yay.
that. Okay. Next leg of the journey, please roll a D10.
I'll take that one. That's a 6.
6. Okay. You can see what appears to be an old pine tree. It seems to have dried out. Doesn't seem very healthy. And in the branches of the tree, you see, actually roll a perception check for me.
All right. That's a... Ooh. That is not good. That is a 8.
8. There's a glimmer of something within the branches.
He'll point that out to the group at large.
Lish will send one of the pixies up to go and take a look.
Which one do you send?
Gree.
Gree. Okay.
Gree is ice.
Yeah. Gree starts to flutter up towards the tree. But before Gree can get too close, the branches rustle and a pseudo dragon kind of flutters out and flies away.
Oh. It's gold?
Blue.
Oh.
But it just flies away.
Nuke it from orbit.
We got spell slots.
I'll have Gree kind of look in the branches and see if anything was left behind.
I mean, let's have Gree roll a investigation check.
Or through what that even is. What was it? Investigation?
Yeah.
Investigation is what? Intelligence?
Yeah.
Okay. 19.
19. Gree is able to find a couple of blue pseudo dragon scales, but nothing more beyond that.
Wow. I'll take those and put Gree back in my hair.
Okay.
Continue.
So it's at this point that you guys find the rope that you put across before, over the gap. But with the giant wolf spiders, you're able to climb on the side of the mountain around it and get to the side pretty easily without too much trouble.
We should get our rope back.
True.
Another D10.
So much more. Oh, another D10. I'll get it.
I rolled it a 1.
Oh. Okay.
1.
Yeah.
Okay. Still snowing. Demir, you take 4 cold damage this time.
Yay!
I'm sorry.
Another D10.
All right, this time I'll get it. Ah! Fell off the table. If it landed one side down on the floor, does it still count?
No.
Okay. Goodbye 6. That's a 10.
All right. Let's see. So, as you are heading down the mountain, the snow dies down a bit, but it's still fairly cold. Just off the path, you can see a patch of red flowers next to an icy pool.
Can we all see this?
Yeah.
Lisha will
My
go
gut
and-
instinct, based on prior experience, is to not trust those flowers.
I roll an insight check on the flowers. I don't.
I'm gonna investigate.
All right, roll investigation check.
$18.
18. You find a little inscription on one of the stones next to the flowers.
Can I read it?
What languages do you know?
Common, Druidic, Elvish, Goblin, Marhabi, Sylvan.
You cannot read it.
Kind of look to everybody else like,
If you can't read it, I doubt that I can.
We all have our different talents.
Tobias
have-
will take a look at the inscription. Is it in Hunter's Cant?
Nope.
That's what I thought. Tobias is like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hawk only speaks, aside from Coven, Elven, and Sylvan, which Lish has already covered, so he doesn't have anything new.
I got Celestial and Dwarvish to add to the pot.
Nope.
Well, is it magical?
The language?
Or the stone?
Oh, roll an Arcana check.
Is the stone warm? Can someone who actually has a decent Arcana score roll?
My Arcana is good. I'll do it.
Valk
I can
makes a
also
suggestion,
roll if
but
need
like,
be, oddly enough.
Uh,
Oh wait,
that's
no, mine is only specific to like
24
the K. So.
24.
Arcana.
The stone is not magical.
Can I cast Detect Magic?
Sure.
See if anything around is.
You cast Detect Magic. You don't really pick up on anything.
and how are there flowers in the snow?
Can I put my hand over the water and just see if it's warm? Like a spring, like a hot spring?
No.
Well, it was iced over, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can Tobias do a nature check on the flowers?
There's not as much snow now. You just saw this sort of iced over pool of water with flowers growing next to it.
Tobias, you said you were going to nature check the flowers?
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could nature check the flowers.
Okay. Roll a nature check.
Cool. Piss. That's a 9.
9.
Mhm.
So looking, what are you trying to glean from them?
If you can tell what kind of flower they are.
Okay. These are amaryllis flowers.
How is that spelled?
Amaryllis.
Amaryllis. Does he know anything about amaryllis flowers, or just he just knows what they look like?
With a 9, I mean, you know that they're red flowers.
Fair enough. He will mention to Lish that they are amaryllis.
Aaron,
Yeah.
will you draw these and write down the inscription, and perhaps we can inquire as to what it means later.
Of course. He gets out his stuff and then mutters under his breath, "So I'm the new Levy."
Yes.
Yeah, you could actually probably do a rubbing of it if you wanted.
Ooh. Yeah. I think he'll go for it.
And mark that down as mountain flower rubbing.
Gotcha.
Do I have any language spells? No.
Demir didn't take Eyes of the Runekeeper.
No.
Does she even have access to that yet?
Well, it's a warlock invocation. Yeah, where's Levy when we need her? God damn it!
Right when we need her.
Trying to seduce an old professor.
No, trying to become best friends with an old professor. Anyways, you could just scry her and ask her questions.
That is true.
You can literally just call her the fuck up.
And do what? So we have a note here that we can't read. It looks like a tree followed by a circle followed by...
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Just
Pretty
play 20
much.
questions with her. It's fine.
Do you wish to
Samir is.
Huh?
She's going to take some of the flowers.
Okay. Cool. All right. anything else you want to do with this?
I don't think so.
Okay. For the last leg of the journey, a D10.
Oh, do it.
By this point, it's getting to be afternoon-ish.
Boy, howdy, how did I predict that, huh? I rolled a 1.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Luckily, it's the snow is dying down. So Demir, you only take 2 damage.
And she's of course not telling fucking anybody.
Nope.
You're the worst.
All right. So, I have a question for you guys. Do you want to get to Legacy Quarry before we wrap it up, or do you want to call it now?
I'd rather get to Legacy Quarry personally, but
Does anyone have any commitments they need to get to soon, or?
I can stay another hour, but after that I can't.
I mean, I don't think Legacy Quarry, arriving there is going to take an hour. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's just flying.
Yeah.
So
We
it
just
depends upon what we.
Flying.
Yeah. So if we start flying, we can just book it right now.
Well, it depends upon what we roll on our random encounter.
Yeah.
As long as we don't get a combat, it's 5 more minutes of role play.
Yeah.
You guys are pretty close to Legacy Quarry. You saw it on the way over. So that's
Yeah,
not enough
it's
time.
like a short, on the map, it's a short hike south from where we were.
Yeah.
If we get combat, we'll stop.
Okay. That it's not enough to trigger a random encounter because you're just a little ways away. You could probably get there in an hour and a half.
Excuse me. We attract chaos like nobody's business.
That's true. That's not my fault.
I mean, by definition.
If you want to roll for random encounter, you can, but
Let's just keep this moving.
Yeah, I think we can. Lish will summon the eagles or the owls once we're low enough down that the wind's not a problem, and just take us from there. He's not gonna wait till we get to the base of the mountain, just enough that the weather kind of clears up a bit.
Not a problem. You make it to the base of the mountain without incident, and start making your way to Legacy Quarry, which is of course up against to the mountain range. It's adjacent, but the city is, as you approach from the air, it's sprawling. The heart of the city is the quarry itself, which is made up of 3 deep holes that stretch far into the side of the mountain and going down. And as the mine is dug out, Legacy Quarry slowly began to build up in areas that are no longer in use, thus allowing the city to expand downwards. And many mining buildings stretch around the center of the quarry. There are also a series of you get the impression, series of tunnels that go off the sides of these main tunnels. It is not walled like some of the other cities that you have been to. But the eagles or owls do draw some attention.
Train their ballista on us.
Yeah. So you can land just outside of the the city.
Yep.
All right.
Down and walk in.
All right. So the buildings themselves seems frankly rather rough, a lot of them. This is very clearly a mining town. So many of the buildings are not very nice. However, closer towards the top of town, there does seem to be a large multi-tiered structure made of smoky quartz mixed with white marble, and a large white iron heavy gate that is surrounding the building itself, and a fairly well-kept garden grown around the chateau. This building does have many guards surrounding it. As you walk, you can also see a 3-story, what seems to be a casino, framed with metal, with walls made from dark wood, leafed with brass and gold. And there are multiple entrances to this building, all protected by a number of private guards. Otherwise, most of the buildings seem to be businesses of some sort, buildings for the running of the mines itself. There are a couple shops. There's a lounge tavern with hookah and various smokables. There's a supplies shop. There also seems to be a brothel with a couple of women outside, kind of flirting with you and beckoning you all to come in as you pass by. There's a few smaller smithies around town, but then a larger one that seems to have a lot of business going on for it. And then there is a tavern. This bar is called the Dancing Imp. And it's a stone building. When the sign hanging outside of it says the Dancing Imp in faded gold paint, and then there's a little carving of a somewhat weather-worn looking imp that seems to be doing a little jig. Where would you guys like to go?
Should we call it here since we lost the Kenzie?
Yeah, I mean, the Dancing Imp looks like a inn, right? Like a
I
tavern
thought that was the
with rooms.
brothel.
No,
No,
it is
Okay.
the inn.
Okay.
The Dancing Imp is a tavern.
Okay.
And you said it was getting close to evening?
It's evening at this point, yeah.
Okay, then yeah, we can probably end the session with the party getting rooms at the inn for the night.
Okay. So you all head into the inn. You can see a Goliath behind the bar pouring people drinks. And interestingly enough, 3 children running around helping to serve the drinks. They seem to be half Goliath, half orc. And they are running around helping serve the drinks. And coming from behind, from a room behind the bar, Felix, would you like to describe what they see?
Yes, hi. Big, tall,
I didn't think.
a little
Wow.
bit buff, half-orc woman in what appears to be monk robes. And she's got a scar over one side of her face, and like her tusk there is chipped, and she is dressed like kind of like she's got the monk thing going on, but also she's definitely like kind of punkish goth kind of going on. Her hair is kind of short and fluffy and black, and she's very obviously wearing a wedding ring, and she's just like the half Goliath kids running around have a likeness to her. That's pretty obvious. So
as you come out from the back room, your husband gives you a quick peck on the cheek as you head out into the floor of the bar.
She pats his cheek affectionately in passing.
So you see a bunch of these strange people enter your inn, your tavern. They're clearly from out of town. You know, that means you could probably make some extra money off of them if you wanted.
She'll actually come right up and greet them and say, "Oh, well, I prefer to greet people at the door, but oh, fuck, give me a second with the accent really quick. Just give me a second."
Fresh character, first time voicing her. Take your time.
"Oh, well, I do prefer to greet people at the door, but she's supposed to be Midwest, I swear to fucking God."
We'll get there.
I'm real sorry about it. But welcome to the Dancing Imp. How can we help you?
And that's where we'll call it for today.
Midwestern.
Midwestern.
Oh boy. Midwestern
Half-orc
goth
monk mom. Our wife.
I am already looking forward to meeting this woman.
And carefully married so she can't be a romance interest for the rest of the party.
False.
Yeah,
Incorrect.
I was gonna say, not with that attitude.
So
That's just quitters talk.
she's very happily married and fulfilled.
Look, she can be very happily married and have more fun as a couple. And
Listen, she's a monk.
Good luck.
If you make an unwanted pass on her, she'll probably punch you in the face for like 2d10.
what you do is you seduce the husband and the wife.
Good
That's even more
fucking
liable
luck.
to get you punched if you do it wrong.
Anyway, I just wanted to kind of get us there so he could get the new
great.
character introduced.
Yes.
Thanks for playing, guys.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
So glad to be back.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Happy New Year!
Let's do a good one.